Hmm. I wonder if there's an arm in an urn in this cave. Let me just turn on my flashlight and look inside. Uh-oh. There's a monster in there.
Children, children,
This is the first sentient monster that I've encountered since I've come to this world.
children,
It speaks. There are no children here, monster.
children, children,
Why do you want children so bad?
children.
Why do you want a children?
A children?
Yes, why do you want a children?
Children.
You know, I'm just gonna kill you, and I'll just see if I can find my
You
arm in here.
deserve to die for your lack of grammatical sense.
You know what? You're just gonna die. Die. Whack.
Oh.
Oh, cool. It left health points behind for me. I guess I'm gonna go and see if I can find this arm in this cave. But in the meantime, a monster and a billionaire enjoy Reubens.
Is Reuben one of the children?
Hello, welcome to Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and raspy-voiced wife, Karradyne.
Hello. I'm gonna die throughout this whole episode. It's fine.
Why are you gonna die? Was it just doing that monster voice?
No, my body's hungover.
Your body's hungover.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What?
Why did you decide to do that voice for that monster?
Well, the monster doesn't talk, really, sort of, kind of.
So you just channeled your inner witch?
Yeah, I guess. That's how the monster would sound, and that's how it sounds in my head. But, yeah.
You said it doesn't talk.
But it sort of does, I don't know. It's complicated. We'll get to that later.
Okay. So what have we been doing this week?
We continued our Marvel journey by watching the first episode of What If... ...
We did, and it just so happens that the first episode was the Captain America supposed Peggy Carter episode.
So it corresponded with where we are in our one movie down.
Yeah, in our Patreon MCU journey.
It's going to take us forever to do this shit.
And it's gonna get done eventually.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool because it helped having just watched the movie and then watching this
Yes,
episode.
you could see clearly that it follows the almost exact same.
It's like going at a crackhead speed, like just flying through everything.
Take a 2-hour movie and reduce it to 30 minutes, and you have the first episode of What If.
Pretty much, yeah. Except
with estrogen.
Except that Peggy went through a whole lot more shit than Steve ever did. Like the whole part in the end, and then her coming back and all that. That was way more than Steve would ever.
We don't want to spoil anything.
It's pretty. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm excited after seeing the lineup for all of the episodes. I think it'll be pretty entertaining. I am worried about that one.
The zombies?
Yeah.
I'm excited for the zombies one.
I'm worried.
I can't wait for that one.
But at least it's animated, so I should be fine.
I mean, they shot that guy in the chest, like point blank, and no blood came out.
That's true.
So...
I have a hard time watching Rick and Morty sometimes. It really freaks me out. I still have nightmares about the snake episode.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah, it really weird. I did not like that at all. It weirded me the fuck out. I hated it. Oh, we got to send Logan the login information.
Yeah, we do.
Remind us, Logan, or Jen. Remind us to give you the login information.
For Rick and Morty.
Because I'm probably not going to remember once we're finished recording.
Yeah, probably. And throughout the week, well, over the past few days, I have been listening to grunge, like 90s grunge.
Oh, my God. Yes, he has.
A lot of it.
Blaring me out of the car.
Yeah. So for some reason, you turn into an old lady once we got married, and now you cannot stand any of the music that I love at any sort of volume.
I had to snag you, you know?
I mean, I don't know.
don't dislike the music. It's just you somehow manage to always hit me when I am not in the mood.
You're never in the mood.
Oh, please.
You're never in
You
the mood
shut
for
your
this
face.
music.
I am sometimes.
So,
Rarely.
okay. So
on occasion.
The thing is, when you think grunge, you think Nirvana, right? You think
Come as you are.
you think Pearl Jam, right?
I think greasy hair.
9 Inch
Greasy
Nails,
hair. Really dirty
Alice in Chains.
Converse. Like a chain on your pants that holds your wallet.
I'm talking about bands, not the clothes.
You just said grunge.
Oh, God.
You didn't say grunge music.
Grunge music. So you think about those bands, right?
Yes.
Even Smashing Pumpkins, which they are terrible. They should be ashamed of themselves. But there's one that is part of grunge that is actually really, really good. And I kind of got into them recently. And that is Stone Temple Pilots. And
I've never really listened to them.
listening to their music, I had no idea that these many songs were theirs, and they just have like all these crazy amount of singles. And in Spotify, they have like their top 5 songs, and
I love how Spotify does that.
they have 2 versions of the same song. They have Plush, acoustic, and 2017 remaster, and they also have Interstate Love Song, which I love that song. It's really good. They have Vaseline. They have so many good songs. What was the other one? Dead and Bloated, Wicked Garden. I really hope that people start wearing their fucking masks and get vaccinated more so that Rockville can happen, so that we can go and see them.
I doubt it's going to happen this year. I really doubt it.
I really doubt that it's going to happen, but I really, really need to go see them.
But since it's not going to happen, what we need to do is we need to have an epic Karradyne celebration. Because that is my month of doom.
Oh, that's when you turn 30.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so I'm going to have to start looking for a new wife when you turn to 30.
Oh, bitch, please. You're older than me.
I know. I'm just wondering, are you going to turn into more of an old lady?
Well, considering that today you told me I was being a Karen.
You were. You were yelling at the people at Sonic.
I wasn't yelling at her.
Yes, you were.
I was fed up with their incompetence. And we just don't even need to go there. We don't need to go there because I'm just going to get mad again. That Sonic is so incompetent. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyway.
They got it right. I mean, they did your cherry limeade with extra syrup like you like it.
Yeah, but it took like 20 minutes to get a limeade.
And my slush.
Yeah.
And my slush was perfect.
I'm glad.
So, I don't mind. I don't mind the wait as long as it comes out perfect. So, we did ask the listeners last week to weigh in.
The great question.
Yeah.
The question of our time.
Flour or corn tortillas, right?
And we had some answers. Thank you, friends.
We did get some good answers. And I have to agree with all of these answers because all of these answers...
I don't agree with any of them.
All of these answers make perfect sense. Mm-hmm. You're just broken. So Burger Champ was the first one to write in. He said, the corn/flour tortilla debate is a hit button issue. There's a
hot button?
I think he meant to say hot.
Oh.
Here's the right answer. It's situational.
Oh.
He prefers corn tortillas for things like tacos, flautas, and enchiladas. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And he prefers flour tortillas for burritos and quesadillas.
If you give me a taco on a corn tortilla, I'm going to spit it out.
And then my friend Kiko said the same thing. He said pretty much if you're having
just doesn't
tacos,
work for like a burrito. And just
yeah, if you're having tacos, then just have corn, and if you're having burritos and everything else, just have flour. And then Wolfgang weighed in over Patreon. Wolfgang said, let me see here.
It's a long message.
That we've been going back and forth. So
I was like, that's a really long response about
first
tortillas.
off, he did recommend that we try Del Taco for garbage. which
We almost went yesterday, but we had another place that had really been on our mind. So
Yeah.
we will go to Del Taco maybe next weekend.
and he's saying that we have to go specifically to the Del Taco in Barstow. Apparently, that's where it originated. So we're gonna have to go to California to
Oh, okay. Maybe not next weekend.
the Gourmet Del Taco. But he says, to clarify, flour is best for juicy meats or quesadillas. He said corn works best for drier meats, which I agree. He also said flour absorbs the juices, while carne asada with corn tortillas is the worst, but good pollo asada with corn, top notch. I'm not really a big fan of chicken tacos. Because
Chicken tacos are weird.
yeah, they're either under flavored or they're really dry. But I'm guessing if there's like a version of chicken made the way that you make carne asada, then I think I would be down for that shit. But we can't find that over here because this is Florida.
You know what I want to
The
eat
Mexicans
now?
here are kind of Puerto Rican-y.
I want to eat some tacos and elotes now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
It's been so long.
It's been a while. We should do
need
that.
it.
We should do that soon.
We should gorbage ourselves. Gorbage our own cooking.
We should do that for Patreon, just like Burger Champ suggested.
Yeah, our recipes.
So it looks like there is a consensus, and I can agree with.
I don't agree with any of them.
I can
None.
agree with them. Because it would be really weird to have a ginormous burrito on a corn tortilla, and it would be really weird to have a quesadilla in a corn tortilla. But for tacos, I'm always gonna go with corn.
But would you rather us make our tacos with corn tortillas?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Do you want us to buy half corn and half flour?
Yeah, we
and
also
us
need to
make
buy.
yours
We also
with
need to
corn?
buy cilantro and onions so that I can chop some up and
Make
throw
a
'em.
real taco.
Yes, because if we can get that chorizo to be really crispy.
Because prior to meeting you, I thought tacos were just ground beef with taco seasoning made by McCormick, cheese, lettuce, and tomato, and some sour cream. That is American Mexican. Amerimexi.
Okay, so
Amexi.
Burger Champ sent us an email.
Oh, speaking of Burger Champ, so we had some friends over last night, and we didn't realize that two of our friends listen regularly. We knew they listened, but I don't know. I don't have much faith in us. So no offense to them, we have no faith in ourselves. But it was funny because our friend Jen, we were talking about our regulars, and she's like, cheeseburger.
She's a cheeseburger guy.
Yes. So, Burger Champ, maybe you should call yourself Cheeseburger Guy.
No, he's Burger
No.
Champ because
It was hilarious.
he is the champion of the burger.
Yes.
He there's nobody can eat burgers like Burger Champ can. So he sent us an email, and I forgot to tell you this early because I know you're gonna have to think about this.
Oh, God.
So the email says, what book and game do you think would be ideal for adaptation into a film or series? And what restaurant from a film or series would you like to eat at in real life?
Oh, I have all the answers.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, God, I have multiple answers. Okay, so for the book that should be adapted into a film or a series, is this cheating if it's already in the process of being adapted?
Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll decide afterwards.
Okay, so it's Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas.
It's being made into a series?
Yes. And it's being directed or produced or something by whoever did Outlander. The guy who directed or produced Outlander. Which makes me think that it's going to be live action, which is kind of concerning because there's a lot. It's very, very, very fantasy. Deep-rooted fantasy. This is the one that I've told you about where you think that the whole book is about demon possession, basically. But then it turns out that they're beings coming from different realms through portals, and just they're parasites taking over human or fae bodies in the world that you're in.
And they're making that into a series.
They're making that into a TV series. So I feel like it should be animated because it's just going to be way too fantastical. There are wyverns, there are giant spiders. So, I mean, okay, then we got Lord of the Rings. But are they going to do it well? Is it going to be another Aragon or is it going to be Lord of the Rings?
You see that the guy, the Aragon director, is telling his fans to badger Disney to reboot
Aragon?
the movies? Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea. It held so much potential. So much potential. And they just shot it down the toilet.
Okay, so I was actually thinking this week about this exact question before he even sent it in. Because the game that I'm reviewing this week is going to be Axiom Verge 2. And I loved the first game. When that game came out, I didn't have a job. I did have a PS4, and somehow I managed to get $20, and I just bought the game as soon as it came out. And I played that game for like 3 months straight, over and over and over again. I just fell in love with the whole world of Axiom Verge. And obviously, second one comes out. I gotta buy it, finish it. And throughout this entire week, I've been thinking the music, the atmosphere, the story, everything lends itself perfectly for a movie kind of like Aliens, but creepier. Because
Alien or Aliens?
the one with Ridley and the Xenomorph.
They're all the same movies, but Alien is the first movie and Aliens is the second movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Learn your shit.
So if they, I feel like it would be amazing. And also, I would love to have not a movie, but a series, a full-fledged series of Yakuza, a TV show. Just
I mean, you would be all over that and you would never pay attention to me.
I would, and I think I would be able to convince you to watch it because Yakuza.
And I could convince you to watch Throne of Glass. I think you would really like it.
Yeah. So the thing is, Yakuza is excessively violent, but it's not gory. So you would watch it with me, and the stories are so fucking batshit and crazy.
Gory.
Exactly, it's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Game
stories,
of Thrones is violent and gory.
yeah. So the stories are so crazy and so convoluted that you would be like gripping your seat just watching the entire time from how crazy it is. As for film or series, restaurant, what would you choose?
I would go to the Green Dragon. I would go to the Prancing Pony because they serve food there. I would go to Luke's Diner. I would go to, that's from Gilmore Girls, since I've only named Lord of the Rings things up until now. I would go to Nervosa, Cafe Nervosa. You know what that's from? You don't know what that's from? Frasier. Come on.
Boy. Come on. A little dinky coffee shop that he
Yes, I
drinks
would go
coffee
to
in
a
every
little
day.
dinky coffee shop that he goes to every fucking day. Nervosa.
So I would choose from a film, White Castle from Harold and Kumar.
Oh my God. You can't go somewhere we've been.
But without the health code violations. So that would be great. No, but if from a movie, I have no idea.
Cheers.
I would say the coffee shop where Julie works in Scott Pilgrim. Is that? Or what is it? The Winchester, having a pint at the Winchester from the Shaun of the Dead movie.
We could go to the Cheesecake Factory from Big Bang.
That Cheesecake Factory is very weird.
I know.
It doesn't look right. But from a video game, I would go to every single restaurant from Yakuza. All of them. Fucking the outside highball bar, the Wild Jackson, the Duck Burger, everywhere. The fucking what's it called? The udon place too. Oh my God, the udon place, the ramen, the 5-star ramen or whatever it's called. I would eat everywhere.
There's a book I read last year, Kingdom of the Wicked. It's in Italy, I think, and the girl's family owns an Italian restaurant. Well, it's Italy, so they're all Italian restaurants, basically. But I think it was called The Sea and Vine. I would go there. Totally.
Interesting. Oh, there's another one I just thought of, and this is not technically a restaurant, but Final Fantasy 15. One of the characters learns recipes as you play the game, and he cooks them, and then they present you with the food, and it's like this super high quality rendering of a plate of food. it's not a picture. It's like they actually modeled the entire food, and it's like photorealistic with how crazy.
That's cool.
Like even fucking buttered toast looks amazing. So I would eat. I forgot his names, but I would eat his cooking. All right. So are you ready to get out of the intro and go into your segment?
I'm so ready to kill some children.
All right. So this is book talk.
This week's book is not a book. It is an ongoing comic series. Something is Killing the Children by, forgive me with these pronunciations, James Tynion IV, Werther del Adera, and Miguel Muerto. I can say that.
That one's easy.
Of course, the Spanish one is easy. So
The dead guy.
the first issue was published by, well, they're all published by Boom Studios, but the first issue was published in September of 2019, September 4th, 2019. The most recent issue, issue 18, was published less than a month ago, July 28th, 2021. Series is definitely ongoing. I think the next issue comes out on September 2nd.
It's a monthly release.
That's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure issue 17 came out in June.
So
maybe bi-monthly, maybe.
Seems like 18 issues since September. Yeah, seems about right for monthly.
Or bi-monthly. Yeah,
monthly unless they've taken like a break or something.
You have a pandemic
And
in the middle of all of that.
that is kind of important. So.
But yeah, so Hoopla. I'll go ahead and give another plug for Hoopla. Because we had a question from Wolfgang about like free places to listen to some audiobooks. If you have a public library, surely you have a public library wherever you live. It is so worth your time to look into getting a library card because I think it's always free. You just have to present all the, what's the word I'm looking for? Residency information, prove that you live in that county or whatever. But definitely look into like whether or not your local library has digital archives, stuff like, not archives, but digital media, basically, because the Orange County Public Library System, you have access to an app called Libby, where you can check out ebooks that can be sent to your Kindle or whatever your e-reader device is. You can check out audiobooks that you can listen to in the app. It's all free. It's all free. And you can renew it. You get it for 3 weeks, but then you can renew if you want.
The funniest thing about that is that you say that you have to return the book or the audiobook or whatever back to them because somebody else.
I know, and you have to like put it on hold and stuff.
Yeah, so
an ebook, you have to put it on hold.
Are they sending you the entire file? They just have one file specifically for that book.
That's what they make it sound like. I know. I'm like, you can't duplicate this. What the hell?
I love when you were explaining that to your dad, and your dad was just looking at you like you were stupid.
It's how they make you think it works. At least
he looked so incredulous. Like his face just was.
I know it doesn't make any sense because so that's how Libby works. But then Hoopla, everything that's available is there and you can just borrow it instantly. You're limited to 10 borrows a month, but there's no placing on hold. It's
waiting.
Really weird. Yeah.
That is so weird.
Really
you have
weird.
to wait for an audiobook. Not for an audiobook, for a fucking digital book to come back.
But I listened to all of Lord of the Rings on audio on Hoopla, which was nice. Hoopla is really good for graphic novels, comics, and audiobooks. I would not recommend Hoopla for ebooks because you cannot have the ebook sent to your device. You have to read it in the app. And maybe that's the difference too. Like with Libby, well, because the audiobook, I don't know. The audiobook you're listening to in the Libby app, like the ebooks you send to your own device. But Hoopla, you got to stay in device. I don't know. We're not talking about the book here, okay? But anyway, yeah. So look into your public library. See if you have access to stuff like that. It's nice. It's free. It's wonderful. If worse comes to worse, they have the audiobooks on CD that you can check out if you have like a Walkman or something.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
feels so 1990s at this point.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna want just the data file or the audio file or whatever in his device because he's going on a 40-mile hike. So
well, if you have Hoopla, you can download it in Hoopla. And then you just gotta open Hoopla though.
Does it need service?
If you have it downloaded, it shouldn't.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't know anything about technology.
So what's killing the children?
Okay, so something is killing the children. I go through Hoopla every once in a while because they have this huge graphic novel database, and I just favorite all the things that I think I'll want to read. So I have my whole list there that I'm ready to check out as I go. And one night I was in bed, like, I want something new to read. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to finally try Something is Killing the Children. Because I have all of these issues just saved in my favorites, and I've never even attempted to borrow one of them. Reading these at night is probably not recommended. They are pretty scary as fuck. But I'm going to just go ahead and spoil the beginning for you. So it starts out... They're like these teenagers, they're having a sleepover, it's all a bunch of boys, and one kid is like telling a monster story, and they all wind up like out in the woods. I can't remember if they started out in the woods or whatever, but they're like at a ravine, because there's a ravine in their neighborhood, and all of a sudden, all of these boys like start ripping in half, and dying, obviously. Very, very violent deaths. And the one boy who was telling the story survives. So then this girl shows up in town. She looks like some straight up Witcher shit, like your modern day Witcher. She's got her white blonde hair. She's pale as a ghost. She looks like Geralt or whatever the hell his name is. We need to finish watching that show so I know more about the Witcher.
And you've only watched one episode.
Face. Yes.
And you didn't even watch all of it because once the Swords comes out, you just stop looking.
Yeah. Anyway, so this girl shows up in town. She's like all punk rock, and she's the only person wearing a face mask because we're not in a pandemic. And it's just a black bandana with like a skull's mouth on it, like skull teeth, basically. So she looks like a biker chick with lime green eyes.
There's a big titty girlfriend.
No, she's not a big titty
goth girlfriend.
She's a regular titty goth girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's in town, and she is like ready to go in the woods and kill whatever's killing off the kids. And she winds up talking with the kid that survived. And more or less, you eventually find out that monsters come from us like bringing them into being. If that makes sense. So, like, you know, when you're a kid and you believe that monsters are real and you put this story out there,
then the monster... They're being willed into existence.
Exactly.
Kind of like our friend last night, willing into existence a child and him immediately pulling it back out of the universe.
Oh, poor Alex. That was pretty funny. I know, I thought that was him, like, announcing to the whole group. I was like, this is how you're announcing this? What?
So the thing is, I was sitting right across from him, so I'm looking him and looking at him in the eyes while he's saying this, and as the words are coming out, I just see the regret of him saying those words in his eyes.
Oh God!
So immediately I said, "Having a kid."
Take it back,
no, I'm kidding.
Take it back. You don't want to put $400 into your dog's operation. I know they're going to, but. Think about all the money you'd have to dump into a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fuck ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Luna, we can just throw her in the dumpster and let the compactor take care of her.
The monsters are really terrifying. The kid does wind up helping her, like, sort of take care of the monster problem in the town. But there's just all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, the monster has babies, and the babies start killing even more children. I mean, I feel like half the town's children are dead by the end of the second volume of this thing, I think. But oh my gosh, it's really good. So then you find out that this punk rock girlfriend, her name is Erica Slaughter. She's from the House of Slaughter, which is basically like this badass bandana society of people who kill the monsters. But it's like all the the societies that are in place to protect us, they have to kill the survivors too so that no one finds out. But she obviously doesn't kill the one kid that survived, because she is one of the soft-hearted ones who doesn't want to keep killing children, even though they might be the only survivor that'll continue going on and telling people about these monsters. But now, these last 3 volumes, issues, 16, 17, and 18, we're finally getting Erica's backstory. And I'm really mad because the last one ended on a cliffhanger about her backstory. Like, obviously we know she lives because she's alive in the present day, but it's really scary. Don't read it at night. But the story is so good, and like, they have all these bandanas, but then they have like their leader who's called the Dragon, and he has like a Bane mask, but with skull teeth. But his isn't a bandana. Everybody else is like lame and in bandanas.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think you would like it.
I probably would. So lately you've been getting a lot into graphic novels and
But these are comics. These are
comics like
comics. This is the first time I think I've read legit comics since you had me read Walking Dead and I never finished.
Yeah. I still think you should watch Sex Criminals because Sex Criminals would be perfect
Read Sex Criminals?
to discuss here on the podcast.
Yeah?
I
Why?
think so. It's just funny, and there's a lot of glowing penises.
I do remember the glowing penises.
It's great. It's such a great comic, and I would say we should read Nailbiter for Halloween. That one would freak you the fuck out.
You know what I'm going to need you to do, though?
What?
I'm going to need you to go get your own library card so you can have your own Hoopla account, because I only get 10 borrows a month.
And
I read them faster than you do. I can't read and then return and then borrow it again.
I'll find them online and we can read them for free
Oh,
online.
you're going to cheat.
Okay, what cheat?
That's breaking the law.
No, it's not. They don't know me.
Oh, my God. You're putting that in the world that you're going to go pirate this shit.
I'm not downloading it. So, I'm not pirating shit. I'm just looking at a random assortment of pictures that happen to tell a story.
And my dad won't look at you like you're stupid because I know it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm sure there's like some logical explanation for it. If anybody knows like how that works, then email us and tell us that he's stupid for thinking that I'm stupid for putting an ebook on hold.
See, your dad wasn't thinking that you were stupid. He was thinking that the program that you were using is stupid.
Yeah.
It just happens that you were the person that he was looking at.
It's funny because Marla got her library card and she's like maxing out all of her Libby holds because it'll only allow you to place so many books on hold too, which is stupid. But it is what it is.
It's very stupid. Like, not everybody in the world reads like Marla, where she reads a book an hour.
Right? It's insane.
So
insane. I think she has probably read the same amount of books in the last month that I've read since January.
That's incredible.
I hit 122 books today.
You know how many I've read this year?
None. 5.
If you count manga.
Are you counting Bubble?
Yeah. Okay, so if you count manga, which is pretty much the only thing I read, I've read like 10. So
I mean, that's not bad.
yeah, I mean, but then again, I don't count manga as like individual chapters as a book. I count the whole series as one book. So it's like 100 and something
bitch, I'm
chapters.
counting each issue as a book.
100 and something chapters would be a book. So
I mean, that's still, for being a non-reader, that's a lot.
Yeah,
you know how many video games I played this year? One, that Kirby thing that I did that one day.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not true. We played Metal Slug and we played Ninja Turtles.
Was that this year or was it last year?
I thought it was this year. Was it? It was this year.
This has been a very long year.
You know, it has been a very long year and a very short year at the same time.
If you think about it,
we will have been married for a year very soon. We're about to hit our 1-year podcast anniversary.
I know. The thing is, like, we're going to hit episode 52 before our actual year because we did that swap where the episodes got released from Friday. They moved to Monday.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
So we're going to hit 52 episodes before we actually hit a year.
That's fine.
But I've beaten a game a week for the past year, more or less. I think that by the time we hit a year, it's definitely not going to be 52 games. It's going to be more like 46, 48. But I think that's a lot of games still.
It is a lot of games.
Wow. I still need to beat a lot more. I should just start piling them on and just writing the shit on Discord again. Jesus Christ.
Oh, gosh.
I took forever to write this stuff for this
You know what?
week.
I'm mad at myself now, though.
Why?
I should have saved this shit.
What
I should have
shit?
fucking saved reading this series for October. I done fucked up.
Yeah. Well, now you got to read real horror books for October.
I do. I
Yeah.
get to read more Junji Ito. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I went into Barnes Noble this weekend and they had this huge table full of Junji Ito. Too bad it's like the most expensive manga there is.
Yeah, because it's all hardcover.
It is so expensive, but it was beautiful. So we're going to have to go back there and spend some money.
Yeah, I think I'm missing like 3 books?
I don't
I'm
know.
missing Frankenstein and I think
The one
like
I sent
2
you a
more.
picture of. Says something with an S. Shame.
No, give me a second.
One moment. But
So
not all of it.
I think it's Censor. I think that might be a new book. I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, it looks like it. And now that I'm looking at this photo that I took, not all of it was Junji Ito. Oh, there's
Tokyo Ghoul and stuff.
Venus Inter Blue, Venus something blind.
Let me see. I think it's just Venus. So yeah, it just looks like they put out all their horror stuff, like their horror manga, and I think I'm missing like 2 or 3 Junji Ito, so maybe we should just grab those next time we go and they have that buy 2 get 1 free on Viz Media manga. Because that's how I got most of my Junji Itos. Like we bought 2 and got 1 free, and then bought 2 and got 1 free.
Right. We need to watch out for that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we bought the 2 most expensive ones so that the most expensive one after that would be free.
Way to go, us.
Yep. God, we wasted a lot of money. Anyways, what are you going to rate What's Killing the Children? Something's Killing the Children.
So I've only given 1 issue less than 5 stars, so definitely 5 stars.
Really?
All across the board.
That good?
It is so good. Erica is a badass. The art style is awesome. It is really good. Really good.
I might have to take you up on that and start reading that too.
You can review it for Horror Month.
And you're going to play a horror
You can
game?
re-review. No, I can't. I can't.
Okay,
Bobby, I can't
then no,
do
I'm
it.
not doing that. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into games and stuff. All right, so for this week's game, we have Axiom Verge 2. It was developed and published by Tom Hap Games LLC on August 11th, 2021 for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PC via the Epic Game Store. I played the Switch version.
So 4 days ago?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah,
You're
it
a
was-
beast.
It was released 4 days ago, and I beat it. Then again, the game's like 10 hours long if you actually try to collect everything. It took me 9, and I got 99% of the map and 89% of the collectibles. I didn't go for the full 100 because I was digging through the rabbit hole trying to find information. And if you look right now, as of the recording, as of this release, right now, there's barely any information online about it. People are still beating the game. They're still playing it, finding all the secrets, and there is nothing. No fan theories, nothing at all. Like, I was looking for information that didn't exist yet. Because I have
You could
many
put the
questions.
information out there.
No,
You
'cause
could have the answers.
No, I don't have any answers. But the game, in the game, you follow Indra Chaudhary as she explores a mysterious world hidden at the bottom of a freight elevator in a lab in Antarctica.
What?
Yeah.
That is not what that looked like.
Yeah, so the elevator in Antarctica takes you to the new mysterious world. And it's crazy because it's a one-way trip. So if you go down into that world, you can't come back.
That was weird.
And any electronics that they send through that elevator don't survive. They'll stop working.
Get fried.
Yeah, pretty much. So the game is a Metroidvania. Means basically that it's a 2D platformer in which you collect new abilities and power-ups to progress further in the map. So basically, if you go to a room, I can't go in there because I don't have anything that'll help me get in there. You go the other way, and a couple hours later, you might be able to find something that'll help you go back into that room and get to where you saw that you couldn't reach. The graphics in the game are pixel perfection. The first game had this constant color scheme that changed depending on which area you went into, which it gave it a unique feel, which separated it from any other Metroidvania released up to that point. This game, in contrast, has a full lush world with a large variety of different environments to explore. That includes snowy mountain peaks, deserts, beaches, underwater ruins. So you're not going to be exploring just darkness like in the first game the entire time.
I saw the mountains, right? Or trees or something.
Yes, you saw kind of like the forest area. There's one part in particular that I was like, wow, this is incredible. And it's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of like a tower, right? But it's like a decaying tower, kind of like a ruin. And when you get to the top and you look, the way that Tom Happ designed the background, it looks like you're looking from the tower down into the valley and you can see a bunch of ruins of an old city and like impact craters of meteorites and stuff. So the world, the way that he designed everything and the way that he built the backgrounds and everything just make the world feel much more alive and lived on and much more destroyed and post-apocalyptic than the first game felt.
Sounds pretty interesting.
So it's just a treat of a game to look. The environments hide so many details and secrets of what happened before that you just have no idea and don't know. And there's a separate world, a part that you can explore. It's kind of looks a little bit 8-bit, but it is highly colorful, and the graphic fidelity is way lower, so it looks a little bit more blended in the colors, and not everything has a definition of what it should look like or what it is, but it still looks amazing. And you get 2 complete different worlds to explore in this game. The game is, wow, the size of it is just incredible. I also like that the world has a lot of Middle Eastern and somewhat Egyptian and Indian architecture, and this is something that is very prevalent throughout the entire game. So you will find hieroglyphics in ruins. You'll find statues that look like they could belong to either one of those cultures. It's I have no words for. I'm trying my best just to talk without just. I'm trying to express how I feel about this game
without just spewing emotions.
Exactly.
It was so beautiful. I just love it so much. Like me.
Exactly. So the sound design in the game is my favorite part. Right? There's a lot of reused sounds from the first game, which they lend themselves perfectly to create that Axiom Verge identity. Because if those sounds would have been changed or they weren't there, it still would have felt like Axiom Verge, but it wouldn't cement that feeling of I'm playing an Axiom Verge game. So I don't think it's a bad idea that they reuse them. And I personally, even though they are loud and grating, it adds to the charm and the atmosphere of the game, which it's also complemented by the incredible music. The music is atmospheric. It helps sell a sense of loneliness and dread that is so prevalent with the first game. But at the same time, the music is incredibly catchy.
Sing us one of the tunes.
I am not singing any of the tunes. No.
Oh.
The music, the best way to describe the music is that it's a mix of 80s techno with chiptune, some vocals, and a lot of Middle Eastern influence. And even though the music in this game is not as amazing as the first game, it is still one of the best soundtracks of the year so far.
Nice. The
gameplay in the game is the definition of the Metroidvania. Let me just say, in most Metroidvanias, when you start, at some point in the game, you get a double jump, which actually helps you reach higher ledges. In this game, you do not get a double jump ever. And honestly, not having a double jump in this game is not missed at all. Like, you get so many other different ways of traversal that not having a double jump is not an issue. And I don't remember if the first game had one or not. I don't think it did, but it wasn't necessary either.
You don't think it did?
I don't think it did. I don't think either, because my brain is tiny. The thing is, you get a lot of abilities called arms by breaking urns and freeing them from the inside. And each urn...
Oh, that's where the urn comes into play.
Yes. So each urn has an arm inside, and the arm is just a swarm of nanobots that just go into your body.
That's random as fuck.
So these arm grant you abilities like climbing ledges, scaling walls, launching a probe, and many more include special abilities that add to your probe. For example, there's one that's kind of like the probe just spits out like a tongue, and that tongue helps it launch itself off of platforms and shit. Suffice to say, there's a lot of abilities in the game that will help you explore and reach any area you want without having any issue of, I don't know how to get there. Like, you will have your arsenal of moves, and you see a really high up platform, and you can say, well, I know how to get there. I don't necessarily need to rely on a specific ability to do that, like a double jump, something so simple, which is something that I love because it's very, very creative for, this genre. Instead of an easy cop-out, Tom Hab kind of like, how can I make this more complicated, but I'll make it feel fun. So, apart from the exploration and platforming, there's also a lot of combat. And to me, this feels kind of like the weakest part of the game, but it is still well done. The game leans more into the Castlevania aspect of a Metroidvania. You have more melee weapon attacks than ranged attacks, which basically that's Castlevania. You only have melee weapons like swords and axes and shit. In Metroid, you have your constant gun, which the first Axiom Verge was like that. You had your Axiom gun, and this one you have an ice pick, a double-sided axe, and you can find knives. I think there's also a machete that I didn't get because I completely forgot where it was in the map. And these don't add much to the combat, but they do serve their purpose. It's your weapon to defend yourself. It's for you to push back the enemy so you can get away if you have to. You also do get a boomerang that you can throw and deal damage or activate switches at a distance. There's a regular boomerang, then there's an upgrade to it, and then there's one that you actually throw and you can guide through little mazes to activate switches or collect items or whatever. You also have the ability to hack most enemies. You can slow them down, make them explode, have them become allies, or just start releasing health. The hacking also works so that you can open doors and access new areas, which brings me to the upgrade system. Through your exploration, you'll find some little bottles called Apocalypse Flasks. These are filled with nanobots that give you ability points to put into your abilities.
Why are they called apocalypse vials?
Apocalypse flasks?
Flasks, excuse me.
I have no idea.
That doesn't make... I thought it was going to help you start an apocalypse. What the fuck?
This game...
What?
I'll get into it later because the game is just so... It's so colorful and so beautiful, but it also feels so completely dreadful. It feels like there's no hope, that everything you're doing is for nothing. You're fighting something that you just cannot win.
That's just lovely.
It
Sounds
is
like my type of game.
It's a very, very bleak game. And even if it's completely colorful and the music's amazing, it just feels like you can't win. So they're filled with nanobots. They give you abilities so you can make your hacking stronger, your attack stronger, or simply, you can have more health or more of a hacking meter, which depletes every time you use it. There's a wheel of usable abilities that you gain throughout the game. These abilities include one specific one that you click, and if there is a portal nearby, it'll just show up and you're able to jump into the rift on the other side. And there's an ability that lets you jump out of the rift wherever you want. There's a blast that breaks walls, and then you also get some extra health reservoirs for whenever you're running low. Click it, your health fills back up. Apart from all that, like I said, there's 2 worlds to explore, the regular world and the breach world. Each one has their own unique map with secrets and abilities for you to find. So sometimes you'll be stuck in the regular world and you have no idea what to do. You go into the breach world and you find a flask that an urn that has the arm you need to continue in the real world. So there's, oh God, so good. There's so much to it. And it's just so fluid. There are a few problems with the game that I have. The first one, I encountered 2 glitches. The first one, using the double-handed axe, at sometimes the character would get stuck in place and you wouldn't be able to move her at all. You wouldn't be able to do anything until you jumped out of the spot or you took damage. I did see a lot of people get stuck like that and having to turn off the game entirely and start again because their character wouldn't move. The other one was that some dialogue scenes, the player character that you were using, the model would be swapped out for a different one that wasn't supposed to happen. And that, it didn't throw me off, but it was a little bit weird. I'm guessing that this is going to get patched out eventually for the character model to be used the correct one during those cutscenes. Or it might also just be that I reached those cutscenes before a specific point or after a specific point. But at this point, I'll never know. I also noticed that if you arrive into an area and you see that there's a save room, a save point right there, and you cannot access it, you can fast travel to that save point, open the gate, and then you can access it freely. So I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was a glitch that was exploitative to help, reach an area that you weren't supposed to be there earlier. I do have a small complaint. I'm not really sure if it's bad. And is that you technically don't have to defeat most bosses to finish the game. I did it anyways because I'm a psychopath and I wanted to kill everything.
That's okay.
And the people are saying, oh, the bosses aren't hard. The bosses are weak. They're not as punishing as they were in the first game. I still think they were incredibly easy, but personally, my favorite part of a Metroidvania is the exploration, and the boss fights are kind of just like an afterthought to me. So having a Metroidvania that doesn't focus on bosses for me, that was okay. I mean, I can't complain about that at all. I do have a lot of praises. Well, I have like 8 points of praises that I want to give this game. So the game is everything I wanted and more. This game was announced a while back, and I was excited for it, obviously. It was dropped on us by surprise this past week, and since I started playing it, I haven't stopped thinking about it to the point that I want to give it another playthrough.
Oh, my goodness.
And I rarely ever want to play any other game that I finished again. I love just how terrifying the world of Axiom Verge is. Everything is dangerous. You're alone. Nothing seems right. The concept of death is meaningless. And they also show you that there are far worse fates in the world of Axiom Verge than death. There's one particular fight that you're fighting against an enemy, and you're fighting in a room where there's a save point. You kill it, they respawn. They kill you, you respawn. And you're stuck like that for like 10 minutes, just killing each other over and over again. And it gets to the point where one of them says, I'm leaving. I can't keep doing this. And they just go. Like, if it wouldn't have been because it was a game and it was just for the sake of storytelling, they could have made it so that these 2 characters would just have stayed there fighting and dying and being reborn over and over again for centuries, because that's the type of shit that happens in the world of Axiom Verge.
That's really morbid.
Yeah. The creature designs are horrifying. They are There's a lot of them. There are fleshy, previously humanoid creatures that have melded with technology. So you see them oozing and being just completely grotesque and deformed, just trying to kill you for no reason. And I just love how unsettled this game makes me feel. It's a 2D game with sprites, and it just makes me feel so unsettled and uncomfortable. And that feeling just makes me want to keep exploring, to learn more about the world and the story. And I just keep going because I just want a happy ending. I just want things to be right. I want that for some way what I'm doing is going to make a change. But in the world of Axiom Verge, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. You are mostly working towards going deep into a hole that you're never going to be able to come out of. It's just bleak and dark.
Sounds like my kind of game.
Yeah. So I just love exploring the game. I love that this game is very different from the first game in many ways, but it still retains its identity and feels like a true sequel to it, or in this case, a true separate story in the same world of Axiom Verge. And so a couple more things. I love the fact that Tom Happ is being vague about when this game takes place by saying things like, the game takes place decades later, ... or is it centuries earlier? I also love that there is one prevalent line repeated in the website and the promotional material that sounds like complete gibberish until you play the game. And it's life, afterlife, real, virtual, dream, nightmare. It's a thin line. It's Axiom Verge. First time I read that, I was like, I get some of it, but now that I play it, I'm
What
like,
the fuck?
I'm like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. There's so much more that I want to talk about regarding the story, like the arms being important to the story, underlying plots regarding the main character before she came to this world, ancient civilizations of the world. But for now, I can't talk about any of that. I have so many questions that I want answered, but I won't get these answers anytime soon. And personally, I love that. Overall, this game is worth more than the $20 it costs. Tom Happ did an incredible job with this game and left me thirsting for more lore and gameplay. I cannot wait to see what else he does with the series. I just hope that it doesn't take as long for us to get those games as it took us to get this game. There's a rumor online that there's going to be 6 more games in the series. And if it's true, then I'm very excited for what's coming because I need more Axiom Verge. And I have to break the mold. 10 stars.
10?
10 stars. The game is so fucking
Louise.
good. It's amazing.
It's not like 9.75?
No. If it were up to me, I would just sit here for an hour just saying over and over again, it's so good, it's so good,
Well,
it's
shit,
so good.
I mean, you
good.
basically took over more than half the episode, so.
Well, I started like at 40, so I took like 20 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's a long episode. And we still got garbage.
We got derailed. Woo!
Yeah. So, are you ready for...
Give me the garbage!
Let's give me the garbage.
This week's restaurant is LaSpada in Orlando, Florida. This is a place that Chris discovered all on his own because they claim to have the best cheesesteaks in Orlando.
They themselves don't.
Oh, Orlando claims that they are the best cheesesteaks in all of Orlando.
During National Cheesesteak Day months ago, I was Ubering and JRR said, hey, it's National Cheesesteak Month. Tell us, what's your favorite cheesesteak in all of Orlando? And everybody just kept saying LaSpada, LaSpadas, 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 LaSpadas. It's like, fuck.
And you were like, I gotta try LaSpadas.
It's like, I gotta fucking try LaSpadas. Because I thought the best cheesesteak place in all of Orlando was Cheesesteak Factory in Metro West, which sadly shut down a few years ago. But, let's see, maybe LaSpadas will...
You're open to suggestions.
Yes, I'm very open to suggestions because after Cheesesteak Factory, I think Arcade Monsters has the best cheesesteak, but maybe LaSpadas has something going on.
So you found out about this months ago, and we just went yesterday.
Yeah.
Basically, we were struggling on what to eat for lunch, and we finally wound up at LaSpadas. But, oh my God, our biggest takeaway, I think, is that this place feels like it's not in Orlando. You feel like you've left Orlando and you've gone to some small backwoods podunk town. And why are you shaking your head?
I would say like you went to like a city in
where everybody knows each other
in Chicago. Like you went like to the not downtown, like fucking
Little Italy.
Yeah,
you're in Little Italy
in Chicago.
Little Italy in New York.
And
New York City.
Everyone knows each other. There's a fat fuck being mean to the cook.
But see, I feel like you could see that in the teeny ass tiny town that I'm from in Georgia.
I could see that too in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So everybody knows everybody. It's very it's very family style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We were a little weirded out by some of the things that were going on in there.
Nothing bad. It was just very casual.
They're all yelling at each other, but like in a joking way, not like screaming at each other.
Yeah, it's like
yo, what the hell are you doing? Yeah.
It's like they're all friends and they're just treating each other like they treat themselves.
One dude just like had his bicycle in the middle of the restaurant. One of the cooks. I'm like, okay. And it's a really tiny place, like not exactly room to just take your bicycle in. My biggest takeaway was that the whole damn place smelled like burnt cheese. Which I mean is a given because cheesesteaks. But it was also really kind of a little too warm in there. I was a little uncomfortable. I
mean, they do have the giant flat top where they cook the cheese.
And it's
sticks.
really small. It's really small.
It's tight. Personally, this reminded me of, going to, the little local burger joint owned by mom and pop in
Hole
Puerto
in the
Rico.
wall.
That everybody goes there for lunch and everybody knows everybody and the
Hey,
the people,
Moore, you working here in Publix anymore?
Exactly.
I heard that.
Like you go there and they already know your order. You don't got to say anything. It's like, oh, triple with bacon and fries on the side. Yeah, that's what I'm taking.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep.
That's what it felt like to me. So it felt like family. Even though we were
very much.
This is the first time we
were
ever
outsiders.
Gone there. Yeah, like we were just sitting there looking. But let's talk about the food.
Okay, so I got a cheesesteak, a regular cheesesteak. They have a couple different kinds.
Yeah.
I got it with sweet potato fries.
They were great.
Those were pretty good. The sweet potato fries were so crispy. And their waffle fries, they were so good, but they're like smaller, so like bite-sized waffle fries, really crispy. They weren't salted too much. They were awesome. And the cheesesteak, oh my God. It was real fucking good.
It was really good.
It felt like it was only meat and cheese, but there
and
were
onions.
so many more flavors going on there. I don't even know what the hell.
See, I haven't had a lot of cheesesteaks where you're eating it and it tastes like steak, not beef. And you get like the sweet onion and then you get all that creaminess from the cheese underneath it. And it just coats everything and makes you just want to eat more and more and more.
And parts of the bread were still a little bit crispy. So that was nice. It didn't get soggy all the way through. Some of it was a good bit soggy. But, God, it tasted really good. And I think they toast the bread just enough that it's not too toasty. Oh, it was delicious.
It was a really good cheesesteak.
It was falling apart in my hands, though. Did have to clean it up with the fork at the end.
Yeah. They did chop that meat up.
It was falling apart.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty great. I thought that cheesesteak was really good. Again, I think the best cheesesteak I've ever had was at the Cheesesteak Factory.
Second best was at
Arcade Monsters. It wasn't at the level of Cheesesteak Factory, but it was close to Arcade Monsters.
It was really good. Really, really good. Definitely better than Charlie's.
I mean,
Charlie's isn't bad. Yeah, Charlie's is good.
But shit, like
it's not amazing.
You're comparing something done by somebody that knows what they're doing to some 17-year-old that just learned the recipe.
Exactly.
So I liked it. I really liked the cheesesteak. It was great. It was well done, and
the cheese was so perfect. Even though it smelled bad.
I got the Reuben.
He did. I was surprised.
I just have one complaint about the Reuben.
What?
First off, I have no idea why I ordered the Reuben.
I don't either. I was really surprised that you didn't get like the monster cheesesteak or something.
Before we got there, I said, I would like to have a Reuben. And I saw they had a Reuben. I ordered it, and this thing was massive.
I mean, they were both big, but yours was way more packed than mine was.
So it has a bunch of sauerkraut in the bottom, right? And the sauerkraut just soaks up all of the flavor from the Thousand Island dressing and from the juices of the meat. So the sauerkraut by itself, it's a little bit sweet and just packed with flavor that it's sucked up. Then you have the Thousand Island. It's not your regular Thousand Island. It's kind of like a little zesty Thousand Island dressing. And on top of that, you have this very juicy, very peppery, what is it, corned beef?
Yeah, I think so.
I have never had a Reuben this good before in my entire life. I think this is definitely the best Reuben I've ever had because it just doesn't taste like a corned beef sandwich piled on with sauerkraut and a ton of Thousand Island dressing. Like it feels like it has levels of flavor that are just working together perfectly, and it's what a Reuben sandwich should be. Now, my only complaint about the whole sandwich is that they took the cheese, they just threw it on top of the meat, and I hit the entire cheese slice on my first bite.
I was about to say I didn't get any cheese in my bite.
Yeah.
Because you ate all of it.
Yeah, it was just laying on top, melted and delicious and everything. And it was great cheese. It was sweet Swiss, and it was just
perfect. It was gone.
But on my first bite, I ate the whole cheese because it just came up. I would say maybe put the cheese in between the sauerkraut
and the meat,
or just in between the meat at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was amazing. It was so good, and I got the regular fries, and the fries were crunchy. They felt like they were fresh. It was just. It didn't taste like old oil either.
That was a big thing. They did not taste like oil at all.
So the way that the place looks, there's a lot of knickknacks and collectibles from, their
history as a
like
joint.
There's Rocky and there's baseball stuff all over the place, and
they had Batman on the TV.
I think that was
random.
When we arrived there, Batman just happened to be playing on TV.
But it I don't know. It lent itself to the whole random ambiance of the place.
I would have gotten it if we would have gotten there and they were playing Die Hard on the TV or something. Then I would be like, okay, yeah, we're definitely not in Orlando no more. But despite what the place looks like, and despite what you would think it's gonna be like with how friendly these people are with each other and how familiar they are with each other, the food is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. Like I have half a mind to be working one day and just stopping the truck and going in there, grabbing a cheesesteak, because it's just
real good.
It's worth the wait. It's worth the
real
sit
good.
down. It's worth just be there and eat. So it's definitely a garbage.
It was awesome.
It was really, really good. All right. So LaSpada gets a garbage. That's the highest rating we got. It just means that food is amazing. It is delicious. It is delicious food for the soul.
Yeah.
Not technically.
You should go there.
Yeah, definitely go to LaSpada. All right. So let's get into housekeeping. Sign up for our Patreon because we're doing the MCU journey this week. Thursday.
Captain Marvel
is coming out. We're going to do one a week. And I also do have an idea for a Patreon exclusive series. And it's that I play an entire game, get the entire story beats and everything that happens written down. And then I tell the story to Karradyne. Karradyne is going to do the same thing with books. And those are not going to be as often. But they will happen every once in a while. And I think if I can make Axiom Verge, the first one, work, I think I'm going to get that story and tell it to you.
Do it. Tell me all of the apocalyptic doom sadness stories.
It's so dark. It's like there's just no way that I can put it into words how dark and
dreary
and hopeless the game is.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
Makes
Sounds
you feel
like just
hopeless.
my cup of tea.
So you know how Aliens, it just feels like she's alone.
Alien, yes. She feels very alone.
In Metroid, it feels like Samus is alone as well on the planet. This game feels like the characters are alone in the entire universe.
Oh boy, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's so good. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at anovelconsole and on Facebook at facebook.com/anovelconsole. Don't forget to tell your friends that they can find the podcast on most major podcast streaming platforms and that they can also listen on YouTube by searching for A Novel Console. Don't forget to tell them to subscribe, like, and comment, which we would like if they did. You should also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts so that more people can find us. You can also email us at anovelconsole@gmail.com and we will read your email on the show. Send us questions like Burger Champ does. That shit's always fun and it kills a lot of time. It kills a lot of time.
It does.
Which is great.
Today it killed a ton of time.
It's great because sometimes we just don't have anything for the intro and just the email gets us through. And our art was done by Metamorphic A on Instagram. You can follow her there and you can find her link in the show notes. And with that, we're done. Anything else you want to say before we end?
No. Don't kill children.
Please don't be eternally hopeless and lonely.
Yeah.
We are not in the world of Axiom Verge. All right. So you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.